Okay, everybody. Woohoo! We got a different project today. Um, as you know, Pantone, as of January 3rd, put out their color of the year, and everybody probably knows what that is by now. But I thought that today we'd take a look at that color, but we would also take a look at some colors from other paint companies, and people that put out colors of the year themselves. And let's just see what's out there as a group, and what's out there, and we'll kind of get a consensus of what the colors might be this year. So let's get started. Alrighty, so Pantone, their color of the year is Mocha Moose. Now, everybody, when you think Mocha Moose, you automatically think coffee or a chocolate or something, and it does look exactly like a mousse, a chocolate mousse. Not as in the animal, as in the food. Anyway, it does look like a really nice whipped chocolate mousse. The other thing I think it looks like is a flesh tone color. And, you know, I just kept going, wow, that's a real major flesh tone color. So I kind of started looking at it in natural light, and I realized that it had some red and violet undertones to it as I was looking to it at it. So you have to realize too, before everybody goes, well, wait a minute. Okay. Your eyes, the rods and cones in your eyes are what determine how you see color. So for someone who's looking at something red versus something pink, some people may think the pink is more red than it really is, or the red is more orange than it really is. So it's not a right or wrong thing. It's just how your eye personally has been built to view color. So, somebody might say, well, that Pantone doesn't look flesh tone to me, and that's okay because your rods and cones are seeing it a little differently than me. But this is what I saw in it. Okay, so when you're looking at the colors, this is red, violet, and red. And if you take that swatch of the Pantone color and you lay it on this, you're going to start seeing a little bit of this color right here. And of course, the more white you add, the lighter the color, the more black you add, the darker the color will get. And it's kind of in this area. And then when I turn to the red, it also was in this area and this area. It had a mixture or a blend of those colors. So it's almost like it's got a little bit of everything in its undertone. So anyway, with that being said, let me move that there. I'm going to show you some stones that I have that I thought would work for that color palette. Because if you're trying to do jewelry based on the colors of the year, then you want to make sure you have options out there to do it. So these two stones and everything I'm going to show you today, I just pulled off of my shelf. I didn't go out and purchase anything specifically for this video. I just went and said, okay, do I have anything? And lo and behold, I had something for everything. So, okay, so these stones right here are called wood opalite stones. And you can see the myriad of colors in these stones. Oh my goodness, look at that. So when I'm looking at that mocha mousse color, I'm going to try to do this so I can hold them a little better. What I immediately noticed was this one right here in here. This is the Mocha Mousse color right there in that stone. Now, if you want stones that are going to contrast but yet blend with them, look at the darker shades of that. These right here, same stone, just the variants, have a red brown undertone, which goes with that undertone there. And of course, if you spin these, you're going to see more in there. And it depends I always joke and say I like a little coffee in my cream. So it depends on if you want more cream or less cream in your coffee or your necklace. So these wood opalite stones are going to have some of that actual Mocha Moose color in it, but it's also going to have variances. Here's another one right here. It's going to have variances in it that will be darker or lighter shades of that. So I've got the wood opalite, and then the other one I had on the shelf was Crazy Horse Stone. This stone is more of the red undertone, flesh undertone. When I laid it actually on the color swatch itself, I thought, wow, look at that. Okay, so both of these stones would work if you're trying to get that Mocha Mousse color within your piece of jewelry. Other things you can do are clay. Some clays are going to be in that Mocha Mousse color. Um, you might be able to find some shells in that color, maybe. It depends on if they're dyed or not. The wood opalite came from Michael's. That's where I got those. The Crazy Horse came from Fire Mountain. All right, let's move to the next one. Okay, so the next one we're going to go to is a color of the year by Glidden Paint. And I know everybody's going, Glidden Paint, really? Yes, they do colors of the year, okay? And theirs this year is brick red. So I started looking at their color of brick red, and it's not like the color that's on my house. My house was built in 1962, and so most of you know what the color of brick looks like, red brick on that. It's not that. It's more of an earthy red with brownish reds in it. And it's actually more of a red brown than a brown red. Okay. So I went and I pulled out what I had, and oh my goodness, this was probably the closest. And this is lava rock. It has that earthy, uh, red brown look to it, and this is matte, which because it's not shiny, it's going to make it have a little different color tone to it. The other thing I pulled out was your typical red jasper. Okay. Now, if you're looking at this red jasper here, and this strand right here, and these were together. I had just taken them apart to do a project, and I wanted to keep all the colors together. But you can see the variance of color in this red jasper. Oh my gosh, look at that. Amazing. But it's still that brick red color, and you can see the difference in this undertone of brick red and this one. Of course, the shiny and matte makes a difference, but nonetheless, you could use either one of these if you're trying to get the brick red color within your necklace. And it's more of a red brown versus a brown red. So you're going to have more red. Wood beads, lava rock, red jaspers, things like that would be great stones for this particular color of the year. Okay, let's go to the next. Oh, first, I got these from Fire Mountain right here. And actually, these were given to me as a gift from someone. So, but I'm sure if red jasper you can get pretty readily anywhere. Okay, next. All right, the next one is a company a lot of you may not have heard of, and it's called C2 Paints. And that's the letter C, the number 2 paints. And their color of the year is C2 Raku. Okay, and that is a dark brownish red color, more brown than red. Um, they said that the inspiration for that color came from a piece of pottery that the Japanese use in their tea ceremonies, and it's called raku. And so it's based off of the Japanese pottery, which I thought was really cool. So I thought, okay, do I have anything that has brownish red? And I started looking, and I thought, oh my, there it is. Okay. So I have shells and wood, in those color palettes. And unlike the brick red from Glidden, that is a red brown, this one is a brown red. And you can see the difference here. Let me pull out these red jaspers here to put them together. Can you see the difference in this? This is more red. This is more brown. This actually in the light, because it's a shell, has a little bit of a violet undertone in there too. But you can see the difference. This is more red, this is more brown. So there's your big, huge difference in the two. Okay, and so these were shells that I had, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's the color. I haven't done anything with these yet. I just had them sitting, hanging on my wall. And then the other thing were the wood beads, and I've used these in myriads of projects. They look stunning with turquoise, I'll just tell you. Okay, both of these came from Fire Mountain, and this is actually Blue Moon beads. I know a lot of you guys are familiar with Blue Moon beads, and so they actually came from Fire Mountain, but it's the Blue Moon brand. And then these came from Fire Mountain, and I'm sorry, I cannot remember the type of wood this is. I usually have it marked, but I've lost the tag on it. But anyway, these came from Fire Mountain as well. To get that brownish red color, shells, wood beads, dyed agates will give you those colors. And if you look at the Arizona Wild Horse Stone, it also has a lot of those dark uh, brown red colors in it. And I have some Arizona, but you know what? Where is that? Oh, I put it in a box. I boxed it up so it wouldn't get damaged. But anyway, the Arizona Wild Horse also has that dark brown like this in it. It is a stunning stone. So those are some options if you're looking for that C2 Raku color. The next one is by Dunn and Edwards, and it too, it's called Caramelized, and it too looks almost identical to Pantone's Mocha Moose. So back to the wood opalite and the crazy horse stone. You can also do clay beads, and it's kind of a terracotta color, but not the red terracotta. It's the brown terracotta color. So it's more like that than the other. So these color palettes right in here would go beautiful with Dunn and Edwards Caramelized color of the year. So you can A/B that with the Pantone and see which one you like better. And because some have more red, some have more violet, some have more whatever in it, and it just depends on what your flavor is. But anyway, Dunn and Edwards Caramelized. Okay, the next one is by Benjamin Moore, and that's a very well-known paint company. And their color of the year is called Cinnamon Slate. And let me tell you, it is a stunning color. Oh my goodness. Um, it reminds me of a color I had in one of my houses that I remodeled a few years ago. And when I saw it and I looked it up and I saw it, I was like, oh, I love this. Anyway, Cinnamon Slate is their color of the year. And I had a couple of things that worked in that color palette. So we've got a couple of things here. I've got some lampwork beads here, and this is charoite stone. The difference between these, you're going, well, boy, that's a big variance in color. Yes, it is. But remember, when you have a color, which this was more kind of like the color that was on the wall, maybe these darker colors in it, there is a variance. There are things that can be lighter than this, and there are things that can be darker than this. There will be a variance in there that you can use with the color that you're looking at. So the charoite stone, the reason why I pulled it out, and when I put it on the color palette and I was looking at it, I was like, wow, this is such a beautiful blend with that color. And part of it is because the Chero White has some browns in it, you can see right there, and it has some blacks in it and some other colors. And so it blended beautifully with the cinnamon slate color that they had done. So I picked out White, and then these are just beautiful lampwork beads in a dark, uh, kind of a plum brown. That's the color of what the cinnamon slate looks like, is a plum brown color, plum with brown mixed in it. And this is exactly that. So you can see there is a color variance you can do within the color palette itself. But agate stones, you could probably get in those colors too. And maybe some shells. I do have some shells coming up, but you could get by with those. But there is a difference in this color and the one coming up. But this is Benjamin Moore's Cinnamon Slate. Okay, the next paint company is Valspar. Yes, they have their color of their year, and it's called Encore. And I was really glad to see this because, and the cinnamon slate and the purple basil that's coming up. I was really glad to see these colors because, we've had a long season of grays and whites and industrial colors, and now we're getting to some of the mochas and things. The difference between the two types is one was cool based, and now the newer colors that are earth tone and flesh tone are warm based colors. So little different in it. But Valspar said, wait a minute. Let's do a color called Encore, and it's a jewel tone blue. And I was stoked when I saw this. Not that I don't like the others, but I do. But anyway, so I pulled out some jewel tone blues that I had. And these are druzy agate stones, and I just love them. You can see the little druzies on there. I had these in a necklace earlier, and I had these left over, but I love the color of blue on this. Then this agate stone is that dragon's vein agate. You can see all the veining in it, and it's shiny, unlike this, which was matte. But you can see how the blues just sing in there. Oh my goodness, I loved it, loved it, loved it. And so I thought, oh, I got to go home with those. But it fits the Encore color palette. So this one is Sodalite, and Sodalite's a little more purple, like Lapis, a little more purple. But I thought, if you had to have a jewel tone, this is not quite as jewelly as these, but this would work. So this is a Sodalite slab that I bought, and you can see the veining in it. It's such a beautiful stone. Oh my goodness. It's just beautiful. I was doing a pair of earring slabs um, just before Christmas that were done in the sodalite stone, and the way they were cut was just stunning. And I chipped one of them when I was trying to put the mounting on it, and I almost cried because it was so pretty. So, nonetheless, I got them put back together, and now they are mine. So, but anyway, sodalite stone is another way you can do the Encore blue color from Valspar. One more from Glidden paint, and it is called Purple Basil. And oh my goodness, it's a violet based color, and it's a little lighter than eggplant, but similar undertones to eggplant. And I thought, oh my goodness, what have I got that can fit that? And lo and behold, I had some shells, some mother of pearl shells that were dyed in a violet color. And look at that. And because they still have the brown undertones on them, on some of the areas of them, perfect use for the purple basil color that they have picked for their color of the year. And I thought, wow, wow, wow. It's another color that is similar to something I've had in another home that I've remodeled. And yeah, so I was like, yes, love that. Well, then I found these. And I thought, wow, look at that. It's kind of got an eggplant color too, a little different shade than this one, but nonetheless an eggplant color. And it's mainly these little square lampwork beads in here. Not so much these, but the lampwork beads. And I thought, wow, there you go. There's another color tone or shade that you could use if you're looking for the purple basil color. So I got both of these at Fire Mountain. The lampwork beads and the shells came from Fire Mountain. And a lot of times, if you look in their clearance sections, you can find all kinds of things like this for pennies. So make sure you look in their clearance sections before you spend a whole lot of money on things. But anyway, lampwork beads, shells, agates, and things like that, you can get in these colors pretty readily. I was going to show you the difference before I move on here. You can see that these and these have different looks. Okay. I mean, even this and this, it's got a little different undertone, this one from this one. Obviously, these purples have a different undertone from each other. So when you're looking for these colors of the year, check your undertones. That's a huge thing. But anyway, I wanted you to see all the purples together so you could see the difference in the color shades. All right, let's go to the next one. Last but not least on this video is Krylon, the spray paint king. Okay, Krylon's color of the year is hammered black. And oh my gosh, it is a fantastic black color. I loved it. And it's not a hard black, it's more like a dark, almost midnight gray black. And the first thing that came in my mind was lava rock. Um, they had it displayed on a vase on a table, and I saw that and I was like, wow, it looks like lava rock. And so I had a little bit of black lava rock left, and this is very similar to their hammered black color. You could probably also use onyxes and jetstones that may be matte in color to get a similar feel of the hammered black color. I've got some onyx that are gray and matte in color, and I love them. Very subdued, not in your face. And it's just, this is a wonderful black color. I'm sure with all of these stones, let me pull some of these back out here, that you could easily find most of these colors in agate stones, shells, wood beads, jaspers, and stones of those colors and types. But anyway, so you're looking at a smattering here of about 8 different companies' colors of the year. And the main overtone is the flesh tone, earth tone, browns, reds, and violets seems to be the overwhelming color palette for this year. So with that in mind, we'll probably have some jewelry coming up with some of these colors. So I will see you on the next video. Bye.